Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
A leading model shows that if we don't take aggressive action right now, we could soon see 1,000 deaths per week here in Michigan. I want you to think about that. 1,000 deaths per week is what one of the models tells us. To date, we have just under 8,000 people lost. That could be 1,000 a week we could be adding to that. So if we act now, though, just like we took action in the spring, and we work together, we can save lives, thousands of lives.
So that woman who is trying to protect her own citizenry is being threatened not just by lunatic fringe groups with weapons who go to the Capitol, and then we find out that they have some secret plan to kidnap her and then try her for treason and kill her. She is not afraid. She doesn't back down. She's still going to try to protect even them from the pandemic, from a disease in her state. And what does the Trump administration do? Scott Atlas, who is a radiologist, he is not an epidemiologist, he isn't a pulmonologist, he has nothing to do with infectious diseases at all. He reads x-rays. But Donald Trump saw him on Fox News saying herd immunity was the way to go. Let everybody die. Thin the herd. Let them die. The weakest will die. And who cares about weak people? The elderly. And Donald Trump went and said that. The elderly are the ones that are dying. No one important. No one important. He actually said that. Okay, so now Scott Atlas over the weekend hears that Gretchen Whitmer is going to do these 14 different things. She's going to shut down indoor activity for the most part. Schools, high schools, colleges, older kids, right? And he tweets out that you in Michigan have to rise up. You have to rise up and you have to do something about her. And I swear to God, no one could believe it. And he said, you'll get what you accept. And we started a hashtag. We were tweeting all weekend. We don't accept herd immunity. We don't accept mass murder. Okay. We don't accept this abject failure on your part. We don't accept you. Right. And then people started pointing out that what he was saying sounded an awful lot like inciting violence. So he was forced to, after his Rise Up Michigan tweet, he was forced to actually confront the Michigan Attorney General. And he had to tell the Michigan Attorney General, no, I was never talking about violence. I was never talking about violence. It sure sounded like you were talking about violence. Rise up. Rise up against Gretchen Whitmer. This is really twisted and dangerous stuff. And they're not going to stop. They're just not going to stop. We have to survive these 65 days. And I'm telling everybody, you got to be extremely careful because this thing is the Midwest is getting hammered now. North Dakota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Idaho, for God's sake, Idaho, Washington State, Illinois, Chicago. Chicago's going to do, essential only, meaning, don't go out. Shelter in place. Shelter in place. We're almost a year into this thing. This man was such a damaged person. He did so much damage. So many people got sick. So many people died. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that there are people that still support him. And I can explain it. It's called propaganda, and it freaking works. It truly works. His supporters are now they're turning against Fox. Fox, they think, is now, because Fox is getting, to the point where they realize how dangerous this has all been. and that all is lost with the Trumpanzees, that it's over, the election was free and fair, there's nothing left to contest. Georgia is doing a hand count, and it will be over on Wednesday, and we will have 306. And even if okay, there's no way that you ever get a recount that reverses 14,000 votes. Usually you'll get 100 votes, maybe 15 votes, 10 votes. You don't get a big swing when you do a hand recount. And that's what they're doing, and nothing will change. And Fox understands this. And now the supporters are saying, no, I don't want to watch Fox anymore, because Fox is now trying to tell them, trying to orient them. Fake news.
At this point, I don't trust Fox News.
Oh my God.
Were you guys Fox News fans up until election night, or?
We were
fading fast.
We're fading fast. Fox News is
We like Tucker.
It's crap.
Fox News called Arizona way early.
Oh my God.
They never switched it. They never switched it when it got close.
Who do you think is pulling Biden's strings?
Fox News has been a favorite media outlet for President Trump.
I watched Fox and Friends in the morning.
We've had some incredible strength in terms of people like Sean Hannity, the great Lou Dobbs.
And I like some of the things on Fox. Certainly Sean and Laura. And Tucker's been great lately.
Oh my God.
And the network's been criticized for being Trump's mouthpiece.
Pro-Trump outlets and some of Fox's biggest stars are enabling this alternative reality that claims that Biden is not president-elect.
But during the campaign, as Joe Biden pulled ahead in the polls and was eventually declared the president-elect, many Trump supporters I spoke to said they no longer trust Fox News.
I don't even watch the news anymore. I don't even watch Fox anymore, because they're getting just as bad as the other ones.
What's your main source of information?
My main source of information is I listen to Alex Jones.
Oh my God.
When George Floyd, that all happened, I stopped following CNN, Fox News.
Oh my God.
CNN sucks, man.
Why'd you think CNN sucks?
Because you suck. You're the worst news ever. So Slanted.
Where'd you get your news from?
OAN, baby.
OAN?
They're a lot more honest than you. Even Fox News is crooked.
Even Fox?
Yep. Good luck, bud. Only one good on Fox is Tucker Carlson. Maybe a little bit of Greg Gutfeld. The rest of them, slanted liberals.
Doesn't Trump like Fox? He calls it Fox.
Not anymore, probably.
He called in on election
does
day.
he?
He called in on election day.
Maybe.
He did.
Maybe.
No, he did.
Oh, I don't know.
watched it.
Oh! Wow. Look at what they made. Look at what they created. This is what propaganda does. It's what it does. Even John Bolton, okay?
I think it's very important for leaders of the Republican Party to explain to our voters, who are not as stupid as the Democrats think,
are you kidding?
That in fact Trump has lost the election and that his claims of election fraud are baseless. The fact is that we've seen litigation in all the key battleground states, and it has failed consistently. Right now, the Trump campaign is doing the legal equivalent of pitching pennies. Where are their silver dollars? Where is the evidence? I think as every day goes by, it's clearer and clearer there isn't any evidence. But if the Republican voters are only hearing Donald Trump's misrepresentations, it's not surprising that they believe it. It's critical for other Republican leaders to stand up and explain what actually happened. Donald Trump lost what, by any evidence we have so far, was a free and fair election.
So when John Bolton is former national security advisor to Donald Trump, is telling you it was a free and fair election, and Republicans have to explain that to Trump supporters because they're not stupid, what do you do with that? What should I do with that? So this is what I did with that. I realized they're living in a propaganda bubble, and that it's not a question of ability to learn. It's a question of repetitive lying, messaging that is counter to reality, and that somebody needs to explain over and over and over and over again that Joe Biden is going to be the 46th president of the United States in 65 days. And that on November 20th at high noon, if Donald Trump still hasn't conceded and will not leave, he will be treated as a trespasser. Because the General Services Administration and little Emily Murphy over there, who will not ascertain that Donald Trump lost, will be replaced forthwith by somebody who will change the locks and take away Donald Trump's parking space. During the inauguration, during the actual inaugural, whether Trump attends or not, people in the White House will be moving his things out of the White House and moving Biden's things into the White House. And the same thing will happen to Mike Pence at the Naval Observatory. That's a fact. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.